Well, each year, millions of older people fall.
Falls can cause serious injuries like broken bones or a head injury.
And every year, Dr. Zorba Paster shares some great advice at an event called Only Leaves Should Fall. He joins us from his clinic in Oregon to tell us more. Zorba, good to see you again.
Hi, Zorba.
Hi, great to see you guys.
I assume prevention is the key here.
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the issues is we live in a state, Wisconsin is always #1 or #2 with falls, and we're not exactly sure why. We compare it to Minnesota, which really has a very similar culture. They have way fewer falls than we do, and we don't know exactly why, but we do know there are certain steps you can take, and that's why every year we have this event called Only Leaves Should Fall.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So in the event will be virtual and online because we're still using COVID restrictions. In the event, we'll talk about things that everyone can do in order to keep from falling, especially older Americans. The important thing about this is if you're 65 and older and you fall and you get a hip fracture, there is a 25% chance that you will be dead within 2 years. And that's enormous. So making sure that you don't fall is important. Exactly what you should do with your lights, we'll talk about. What you should do with those throw rugs, which for many people to get rid of it. What do you do outside your house? What do you do inside your house? Those are the tips we're going to give at this really spectacular event. And we encourage people, if they're senior citizens, to join it, or if they're working with senior citizens, to look at it too, because they will get tips that really help them.
Why is the mortality rate so high?
Well, one of the things are, first of all, if you fall and break your hip, you need surgery. And so there's a mortality from the surgery if you're over 65. But also, you don't get up, you don't move around, you don't take that deep breathing, especially right after the surgery. And it leads to a risk factor for pneumonia, heart disease, and other metabolic problems that people have. So in other words, you don't have a chance to really take care of yourself with wellness. And that's one of the major reasons why falling and fracturing your hip is so important to prevent. The other thing is 50% of the people who fracture their hip end up being disabled in one or more major activity of daily living. When you're over 65, it's really important. You want to stay self-sufficient. That means not falling.
Yeah, and it's as simple as you said, like getting rid of the throw rugs around your house.
Getting rid of throw rugs, putting up the lights the way that you should put them up. Taking some very simple steps can reduce falls dramatically.
Well, my mother fell a few years ago, and she never returned home. I mean, she's in a nursing home now, but she couldn't live at home anymore.
Well, and my father did too. He fell and he had a pretty significant head injury, you'll remember, last year. And he's doing well, thank goodness. It's his birthday, by the way.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Yeah.
But it is a serious situation.
But this is a very good example. You just gave examples. You both are there and you gave examples how falling is a really major aspect, a major thing to prevent in all of us, but especially senior citizens, because here it is, you have, Mark's mom is in the nursing home and your dad had a serious injury. If you keep from falling, you don't get the problem.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, Zorba. Thank you.
Thanks.
Tell folks that the Only Leaves Should Fall is free. It's a virtual event sponsored by Safe Community. It's this Thursday, September 30th, from 10 a.m. to noon. To register, call 608-235-1957 or email hillman@safercommunity.net. We'll have that.
A. Hillman.
A. Hillman.
Yeah.
Safercommunity.net. We'll have that information online as well. It's this Thursday.